Now, the presidential candidate of the New Nigerian People Party, Rabiu Musa Kwankwaso, was announced overall fourth by the Independent National Electoral Commission after the 25th of February 2023 exercise. The former governor of Kano State and one-time Minister of Defense has since then picked holes in the process that was adopted by the election management body in arriving at the announced results. He has thus far not indicated any interest in challenging that outcome before any tribunal or court of law. But will he be doing so? Abubakar Yesufu is a spokesman for the NNPP Presidential Campaign Council, and he joins us today for a brief chat. I want to say thank you very much, sir, for joining us today. And Rabiu Kwankwaso, certainly, while the February 25th election might not have turned out the way he expected, but the 18th of March election certainly probably gave him maybe the silver lining in the dark cloud with NNPP clinching Kano State. Talk to us. What's the overall assessment of the NNPP on what happened on the 25th of February?
Yeah, well, we are still viewing, we are still talking. Members of the Kwankwasia movement, like our
time is of the essence.
You see, we are not. You see, there's no monocausal route for expressing your grievances. The only way here is maybe by going to court, which is very civilized. But if you know Musa Rabiu Kwankwaso is a very measured person. So he's strongly of the opinion that there will be consensus in no time of the Kwankwasia movement, so that the idea that we have not even gone to court is itself a protest. When you say Kano and Kano alone, it is insultive that Kano will be the only state we have in the kitty. Don't forget that the entire northern states, they believe in the leadership of Musa Rabiu Kwankwaso.
It wasn't evident in the 18th of March governorship election. Kano State, who is, correct me if I'm wrong, Kano State still is the only state that NNPP was able to capture.
Yeah, that's what we are saying. The electoral process itself was senselessly rigged, and our mandate in other states taken from us were rigged. So we are checking. Kebbi, Katsina.
Kebbi is still in the balance. We'll be having an election tomorrow.
We are going to do that. But the other elections, in fact, so far, I'll tell you that we were rigged. And in no small measure, we are complaining, and we don't intend to tell the world right now. Like one of our drawbacks, one of our shortcomings is that we don't really like to hog the headlines. That does not mean that we are cowardly. For when the tiger treads softly, it does not mean that the tiger is afraid. At the Kwankwasia movement, you discover that in the first election, presidential election, we lost about 16 members of the Kwankwasia movement. And our secretariat in Central Kano was burnt. Even the bodies of those people that were killed were also burnt. The leader, Rabiu Musa Kwankwaso, is a very measured person. Somebody that took over from Yahadua, from Danjuma as Minister of Defense. He's a very measured person, and he takes his time in coming to a decision. At the Kwankwasia movement, we do not really believe in the philosophy of the Moses law, Mosaic law of an eye for an eye, which is draconian, nor do we subscribe to the Christian doctrine of turning the other cheek when slapped. Well, we believe in reconciling Jesus and Moses halfway by forgiving the man who plucked one of our eyes, but we prevent him as far as we can from taking the other one, if need be, by blinding him, not necessarily as a reprisal, but as a precaution from totally.
Are you insinuating extrajudicial measures to get back your supposed mandate?
No, you are taking one eye and we have pardoned you. You discover that even in that first election we had, the governor of the state, as it were, wanted to call for a demonstration. But he was warned by the Kwankwasia movement that if you do that, there will be reprisals. So he quickly dropped that idea. So we are not violent, we are very quiet. This fact that we are not in court is itself a protest, like I've told you. Maybe it's a kind of vote of no confidence on the institutions and not more pretensions. So we are watching it, and we are not about to turn around. And don't forget the proverbial duck that did not say anything when his duckling was taken from a hare, and the hen that costs without limit. The duck was returned back, and the cattle really said that there was nothing serious about the hen that caused. So we are like the proverbial duck. We are still watching events unfold. It is not an endorsement of what has happened. Nor do we believe in some of the things people are speculating. I know what the Kwankwasia can do, like the issue of interim government. We forbid it. Anything we are going to do is going to be within the Constitution. We are still reading the event. The court, like I told you, is just an aspect.
Well, allow me to jump in here, please, gentlemen. Thank you. So you've spoken about not going to court and having other forms of recourse in order to get justice.
Yes.
Would you mind elaborating on that? And also, I noticed that you've dropped a lot of anecdotes, a lot of metaphors, a lot of little stories that help us understand the course that you would take, seeing that the Kwankwasia movement is more strategic. But are you afraid that the results that you want might not come out? Let me drop an anecdote your way. The tale of the scorpion and the frog. Just a quick reminder. We know that the scorpion bites. Pretty much it's the nature of the scorpion never changes, regardless of what situation they're in. So with saying that, do you also have fears that maybe the nature of the judicial system might not work in the way that is intended? What are your thoughts on the way to get justice for NNPP?
Well, let me first and foremost tell you that I'm not just a member of the judiciary, I'm a very senior member of the judiciary, so I'm not going to be part and parcel of indicting the judiciary. But like I've told you, you see, Rabiu Musa Kwankwasia, I was with him last week. It's not crazy. It's not so deep in this issue of becoming the president and all that. If there's a system that can ensure that the poor will have, good access to, water, light, and what have you, that the children out of school will be rehabilitated. He has about 3,000 students abroad that course across the entire nation, the only aspirant that has that in Nigeria. So if you can really give him all these assurances, I'll tell you that Musa Rabiu Kwankwasia will go back to the drawing board and we'll start conscientizing the people again, so that probably the next election will be very, very transparent.
So which means will you use to get justice?
Yes, that's what we're saying. We are still looking at all options. The judiciary is just one of it. If you protest, you can decide to say, look, we are not going to court. That is even a more, plausible way of protesting. It means, or it stands to reason to some people that maybe you don't believe in the option of the judiciary and all that. We are reading all options are on the table, but less on constitutional means. Whatever we are going to do is going to be within the confines of the Constitution and the electoral law. Right. I say that and nothing more pretentious.
And what's with the future of the NNPP? It's quite impressive as a party that has been around for a little less than a year, has gained a bit of groundswell, even though things did not go as well as you all would have hoped at the presidential polls. Just like Aaron said, Kano was one, so that's definitely one in the kitty. So what is for the future of the NNPP and the Kwankwasia movement in the next coming years?
Well, you see, as it stands, you will discover that, Kwankwasia is the emerging leader from the north. And he has his grip through his running mate, Bishop Idausa, in the south. So we have started conscientizing people. It might interest you to know. We're already talking to people who are disgruntled, especially the youths, who are really, they are increasingly becoming disinterested in the electoral process. But we are trying to tell them that they will come another time. And from this mountain of despair, I think Kwankwasia intends to build a tunnel of hope. And that's what we are doing, and we are not about to yield grounds at all. We have seen the result, and we are working on it. Even the result as it stands, we discovered that Kano State, the governorship, our governor-elect won with more than 1 million votes. The only state, maybe in the federation, that had that type of mammoth beginning, but we still believe that we were cheated and cheated hopelessly. That does not reflect what we stand for. But we are not going to do anything that is unconstitutional. Whatever we are going to do, by way of protest or so, is going to be with the confines of the law.
All right, within the confines, let's talk about recent events within your party. One, Abubakar Aliyu, Dan Galadima, and 12 ESCOs have actually left the NNPP, and they've cited a myriad of reasons. Of course, they said that staying with the party without a governorship candidate, talking about NNPP in Kebbi State, because I'm not sure NNPP will be running the supplementary elections that are actually going on right now. Also, the reruns we're going to be having in Kebbi State. And he said that that's the reason why he and 12 others defected to the APC so that they can work with the governorship candidate of the party there in the APC, talking about Dr. Nasir Idris Kwandu. So, as it stands right now, it seems the NNPP is still defragmenting even the more.
Well, you see, Nigerian politicians, it's very difficult for them to stay. When you put them, it's just like a fish out of water, they cannot survive. So in Kwankwansia, those who believe in Kwankwansia movement, whose motto is the truth, we can actually, stay without this type of, office and official patronage. So not too many people can stay without official patronage, we say, the next 4 years. But we have been brought up by our leader, Musa Rabiu Kwankwaso, that what we intend to do for the country is more than what the so-called government in power will give us. We are not ruling out anything. That is not to say that all options are not there. So don't be surprised tomorrow. You see that I've not discussed the option that is open to them. But as I'm here now, or as we speak, we are talking to ourselves, so that because Rabiu Musa Kwankwaso believes in a consensus building. Even before he went to the London House, the Talk House in London, Chartered Talk House in London, it was a consensus meeting. We reached a consensus a year ago. So he went there and he showed the class and the style. So we are going to reach a consensus on what we are going to do. And like I told you, everything is on the table except on constitutional means.
All right, with INEC coming out this week to say that they defend the election results and their performance, saying whatever infractions occurred were not did not substantiate a reason to nullify the results of the elections. And I say that to say, what could have possibly happened with the logo mix-up that was widely reported with the NNPP? Has there been any kind of investigation? Has INEC come to explain anything? What has been the investigation into that so far?
Well, we have come to the irresistible conclusion that it was deliberately done by INEC to defranchise us. A lot of people, you don't forget that our bastion, our support base, is made of people that are not too educated. They don't watch Arise News. They don't have your type of mobile phone. So when they were talking about, you discover that when you had your polls and all that the other time, you give candle to even PDP and what have you, but we kept quiet. So the mere fact that our logo was not verifiable is an indication that we're defranchised. So we are not protesting, but that is the truth. And INEC is aware that this, is not, will not augur well for, free, fair election.
Okay. Now, briefly, as we actually try to wrap it up, this is the first time NNPP is actually winning a state. And Kano is one of those battleground states. So it's very, very massive for the NNPP. Talk to us about how do you build on this massive success? Because winning Kano State is huge for a party like NNPP. Like you said, a lot of people did not even canvass for your party or did not give your party a chance. And here you are right now, actually flying your flag in Kano State.
Yes, we, like I told you right from the beginning, even before now, we have contact with other political parties, other civil rights organizations and all that. We'll be talking to them and all that. So we are going to build on that. Right now in the north, there's really no visible representation. Northern Nigeria, and even certain part of the country, they normally have a leader once in a while. Okay. So Kwankwaso has emerged as a new leader from the north. And with his running mate, who is also in the south, we are going to take the country by storm. And we are not waiting till 4 years now. We have started conscientizing the people. Because, like they always say, you cannot, the Talakawas, for the Talakawas to liberate the people, they must be educated. But people normally make the mistake by saying that they want to liberate the Talakawas. The Talakawas, they are the liberators. So we are trying to educate them. But that's why most professors will tell you that there cannot be philosophy without the Talakawas. And the Talakawas cannot exist without philosophy. So we are trying to conscientize them, educate them so that they become real liberators. They have not been well educated and conscientized. So that's exactly what we are doing.
Thank you very much.
Well, then, thank you for coming in to speak with us today. NNPP spokesman Abubakar Yesufu, thanks for coming.
Thank you so much.